Tampa Bay desperately wants Chris Godwin back. I think they'll be aggressive in trying to retain him. I thought that was interesting. They do not want him. They can't franchise, but I think that's a deal that will get worked out.
They're good at closing deals for their own guys.
Yeah,
really
I mean, you
good.
think
One of
about
the best
Baker,
at it.
Mike Evans. You think about some of the guys over the years, exactly. So that became very clear last night. I talked to a couple. I'll leave it at this. I talked to multiple teams, and I'd be like, "Oh, who have you met with so far?" And multiple teams said this to me, completely independent of each other. Like, "Oh, we met the quarterbacks. Oh, what did you think?" And they each had, all the teams had the exact same answer, which is Cam's great. We love Cam Ward. He's terrific. Did you guys meet with Sanders? Yes. How was that? Not great.
Interesting.
Again, I talked to multiple teams and they literally had the exact same answer, completely
Really
independent of each other. It's just that again, these are just, when you're in these rooms, I want to clarify here because I'm not trying to kill the kid or anything like that. There are tons of people in the room.
Right.
It's not just a one-on-one, right? There are when you're a player, you're going in and you're interviewing with 10, 12 coaches. I mean, it's a lot of people. And so in these cases, these were the people that I were talking to were in the room, but they weren't not necessarily the decision maker or anything like that. I was just, what was your impression of the kid? You know what I mean? And again, it's an 18-minute meeting, and some players vibe with different teams, and it also depends on the time of day and the questions. But I just thought it was really interesting that all the teams I talked to, and I didn't talk to all of them, but I did talk to more than one, and all could not stop singing the praises of Cam Ward, and all of them also had more questions about Sanders than less after the meeting.
Connor, do you think that many teams, if any, have Sanders over Ward?
No, I don't know a team that does.
Yep.
It's kind of consensus that Cam's going to be the first quarterback taken in this draft. I think the question with Shedeur is just where does he go in the first round, right? Because we saw this with quarterbacks over the years. If you get past a certain point of all these quarterback-needy teams, you start to fall a little bit. So it'll be fascinating. That's what teams are trying to answer here.
Yep. Okay. Well, one of Shedeur's.
Could you think is there, because there's back and forth on Sanders and his tape. Is there a scenario where teams view Sanders as more of a project than a ready-made option? Cam Ward starts day one for whatever team he drafts him. Is there a scenario where somebody looks at him more like a Will Levis type, who people really liked coming out of the draft, but knew he needed some work? Lawrence, you were shaking your head.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Shedeur to Will Levis is
I'm not saying they're similar players. I'm merely just saying
the situation.
The situation in that, again, it got crazy, but up until the draft, there was talk that Levis was going in the top 5, and then he ultimately ended up
off of
first
traits. I think Shedeur is the opposite. I don't think it's the traits. I think you play him right away because you know what he is.
Right.
I don't think there's upside. That's the problem. He doesn't have the same playmaking, arm strength, running ability, size that you do. But he's played a lot of football where if I took him, I'd want him to play right away.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com. And I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched. Or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.